You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, all you weirdos out there. Welcome back to the most anticipated comics of the week show. And this is for comics coming out for the most part, or actually all of them, I believe June 19th. June 19th, I just said. And that's going to become clear why I said exactly that. Not how I said it. I just messed up with that. But why I said they'll be coming out the 19th. But before we get into this, let me remind everybody that these are just the books that I'm anticipating, not even things that I think are going to be great or good or whatnot. Sometimes I anticipate things because I hope they get better or they're new number one, so I wouldn't know what's going on with those. But I'm saying that to let everybody know that I'd love to hear what books you're anticipating, and I'm sure that everybody else would appreciate that as well if you put those in the comment section to let everybody know what's coming out and things like that, because that is pretty much the gist of this. The MO of this show is to let everybody know that there are some good comics coming out. It's tough. I know that it's a bit of an odd time right now in comics, but there's always something to be had out there. And I say that, and I'm going to start, as I always do, at DC, and tell you that I have nothing on the DC docket this week that I quite am anticipating. So we're kind of null set there. I have not had that happen before, but it's going to happen here. It doesn't mean that some of the things might not hit or might be better than I am anticipating. I will be reviewing all of the books either on our regular podcast here on YouTube or even on our Patreon account, which I'll say is patreon.com/weirdscience, where you can go and get a ton of shows each and every day, each and every week, each and every month. But that is besides the point. But if you are interested in that, you can go to the show notes and have some fun there. But DC, just nothing there. So we're going to move quickly to Marvel. I think this is going to be a quick show because of the lack of a anticipated DC book. But there's a couple at Marvel. One that I think some people will laugh at, but I hope that maybe we will end up doing a review here on the YouTubes, and maybe people will enjoy it. But first, we'll talk about the book that I believe will be on everybody's list, and that's Ultimate Spider-Man #6, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Marco Cicchetto. Said that with an extra syllable for some reason. Here is the solicit: the shocking conclusion of the Ultimate opening arc. Spider-Man must finally confront the head honcho himself, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Kingpin, as owner and operator of the Daily Bugle, has been working with the Makers Council to control the spread of information in their favor, fake news, if you will, which means he's the first domino that must be toppled to end their regime. Plus, Mary Jane holds her own. Enough said. I wonder what own she holds. Maybe her own hand? Leg, maybe? We'll have to see. And it's good to see Marco Cicchetto back, so I'm excited about that. Of course, I pronounced it different each time that I say it, so we won't say it anymore, but I'm looking forward to his art and looking forward to some forward momentum, not info dumps and things like that I wasn't so hot on, but a lot of people said that they still liked it, so they're still full in with the Ultimate Spider-Man. I am in as well, but I just want a little bit of action and forward progression, which it seems we'll get. The next book is Venomverse Reborn #1. I haven't been really reading a lot of the Venom books, but we're having another big Venom event, and I might check in on this and see if it is worth checking in on, because I haven't really been enjoying or didn't enjoy a lot of Al Ewing's Venom stuff. I haven't really read it regularly since Ram V left way back, so I haven't read it in a while. But if I read this, maybe I'll get fired up. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. Venomverse Reborn #1 is written by Al Ewing, Christos Gage, and Benjamin Percy, with art by Danilo Beyruth and Brian Level. Here is the solicit: the darkest web is respun. I was going to say Raspun, almost like Rasputin. I don't know what I'm doing. It's very late. Dive back into the darkness as the Venomverse is reborn, with stories of symbiotes from across the multiverse. First, Benjamin Percy and Brian Level spin a tale of the murder of Earth's mightiest heroes by one of their own. But who? Then Christos Gage drags Venom from Insomniac Games' Marvel's Spider-Man 2 across the Venomverse to take on Null. I have not played the game, so we'll see. And all the while, Al Ewing and Danilo S. Beirut set the stage for the tales spinning out of the ongoing Venom series. So, a bit of an anthology book. I'm not always so hip on those, but I'll be reading that. I'll check it out, see how it's going, and I'm sure that some people will fill me in on the Spider-Man 2 Insomniac game and say, boy, the Venom in that is pretty cool, or the Venom in that sucks, or maybe neither. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what people say. Moving along, as I said very quickly, the third book, and the one that I said would be kind of funny, and I do think we're going to review it on the podcast, thus have a review on YouTube as well, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, #1, written by Jason Aaron and art by a bunch of people. For the first time ever, Marvel and Disney team up to bring you the story of the century, and that is like a funny thing, because the C in century is like a cent sign, but it's also century. See? It's the story you never expected. One of the greatest characters in the history of comics leaps into his most epic adventure yet, in the manner only Marvel can deliver. When Uncle Scrooge's fabled money bin gets stolen by a shocking culprit, the world's toughest duck must undertake a quest unlike any other. Alongside a surprising array of allies, other versions of himself, an oversized special from Marvel mainstay writer Jason Aaron, who isn't as mainstay right now as he was before, and it says Thor and then Avengers. Why are we mentioning that? Say Thor and Thor. And a cadre of celebrated Scrooge artists, and they do have a lot of the big Scrooge artists on there. Also, representing the classic Christmas on Bear Mountain, the first appearance of Scrooge McDuck by the legendary Disney Comics creator Carl Banks, was also a kick-ass linebacker for the New York Giants. So there you go. I didn't know that he was also a great Disney comic creator. But you learn something new every time you read something or listen to this podcast. You learn something sus, I'll tell you that. But that is it for Marvel. So now we're going to move to the indie side of things, where it's no surprise a lot of people are relying more on the indie stuff, with the big two kind of hurting. And I am one of them. And you'll see that is true, because I have a bunch of indie books that I'm looking forward to, and a couple that I don't have on the list that I know will be mentioned. But one I have to catch up on, but I am planning on doing the whole deal review. I'm not even going to reveal what it is, because now I'm confused. Destro #1, though, is on my list. I've already read it. Pretty good. Written by Dan Waters, art by Andre Bresson and Adriana Lucas. You have it from Image Comics /Skybound/Energon Universe, and it's $4.99. Just let you know that. Miniseries premiere. The next chapter of the Cobra threat begins here. James McCullen Destro is the man behind Mars Industries, the undisputed leader of the providing high-tech weapons to world powers for the right price. But the emergence of Energon has changed everything as Destro's ambitions grow. The, quote, Crimson Twins, Tomax and Zamat Paoli, emerge to destroy their competition, and Cobra Commander realizes his current ally could be his future greatest enemy. Acclaimed writer Dan Waters and artist Andre Bresson change the balance of power in the Energon universe forever. Like I said, some of the things as I read that solicit, if I hadn't read the issue already, I would say, oh, this looks like something not for me. A lot of words I can't pronounce, a lot of names I've never heard of, because as I had mentioned in our Best of the Week show this past week, I am not a lifelong, fan of Transformers or G.I. Joe, but I've actually liked the G.I. Joe stuff, especially the Duke book, maybe a little more than the Transformers stuff. And I know that is sacrilegious to some people listening to this, but, Jimmy's got to do what Jimmy's got to do. And that's how we roll around here, right? That's how we roll. And I just really am more into the G.I. Joe side of things, I guess. For now, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to move on to the next two books, which I'll tell you, because of this show, because the most anticipated show, but also the Best of the Week show I do with Gray. He might be a Japanese AI. We're not sure yet. We're trying to check in on that. But I never would have read, I don't think, anything by Tony Fleeks. And people had suggested it, especially on this anticipated show. So I started reading Feral, which I did enjoy. But then that led me to read Uncanny Valley, which I really enjoy. and both come out this week. It's a Tony Fleecs type of week. It is. It's a Fleecs week. Feral number 4 is the first one, written by Tony Fleecs with art by Trish Forstner and Tony Rodriguez. It comes out from Image Comics. It's $3.99. More animal horror in the ongoing series from the creators of Stray Dogs. The indoor cats finally come home, but so do their secrets. After surviving the rabies-infested forest, can the cats survive each other? There's a lot of ... dots in this, and a lot of question mark, exclamation point, question mark. And what exactly is lurking in the basement? Don't get bit. Don't get scratched. Don't become ... feral. That's what they say at the end of all the solicits. I don't want to become feral unless it's Will Ferrell. He got a lot of kashunda. I'll take his money. He's also a tall fella indeed. But yeah, there you go. And I am looking forward to Feral number 4. I will tell you that issue number 3 I thought was a little bit down. The whole deal is, Lord end up running around, and I get that it's the trope or whatnot, but I'm glad that they have gotten out of the forest. We can kind of do something different there. So I am looking forward to that. But Uncanny Valley number 3, which is next, I really like the first 2 issues. I hope to have a lot of fun with that. It's written by Tony Fleecs. Again, art by Dave Wachter. I think the art's great. And it is from Boom Studios, $4.99. Oliver finds himself someplace outside our world, a 2-dimensional place where his mom is desperate to get him back from, but it seems impossible. As Oliver runs into very large and very real danger in the cartoon realm, someone from his family's past and other allies may be just the help he needs. We'll see. We'll see if it might be his daddy. I doubt it, but we'll have to see what's going on, and maybe we'll get the reveal, at least the visual reveal of the big bad. We'll have to see. That's kind of is playing coy with that, so we'll have to wait and see what that is all about. Now that I think about it, I think that it, because you don't hear a voice, you're kind of going with the idea, if it's a girl, guy, this big bad, maybe it's his grandmother. Maybe that's the deal, because his grandfather there with him. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. I'm trying to extend this because we didn't have DC books. DC really screwed me with not having any books that I'm anticipating here, because I'm at the last book. Again, this is like my wife says I am, short and sweet. She doesn't say that. She's never said that ever. But I'd like her to say it. I'm yelling it pretty loud so she can hear me, and maybe she'll feel bad and say that to me later. But the last book is Redcoat number 3. And I've talked about this last week. We talked about Geiger. We had the review for Geiger. And during the review, I mentioned how cool it is for the Ghost Machine books to be the idea you read Geiger, and all of a sudden Geiger's your favorite one. Then you read Redcoat, and Redcoat's your favorite. I am, and I'll tell you my order of these books lined up. I end up having Rook Exodus number 1, but slightly, so slightly behind is Redcoat number 3, and then so slightly behind that is Geiger. I really like all of them. I really like them. The more I thought about that Geiger last week, I started really, really liking it more and more. It's more of a subtle than, say, a Rook Exodus, but I really liked it. But I really enjoy Redcoat. Looking forward to that, and we'll see how that goes. But you end up having, this is obviously a Ghost Machine book. Jeff Johns on the writing side of things, and I believe, unless it's different, it should be Brian Hitch on art, though it lists something else. But that's that might be the deal. I don't know, but I'm going to go Brian Hitch. Maybe somebody can correct me. And it's $3.99. And here is the solicit. The unnamed immortal hero Simon Pure has made a lot more enemies than friends through the centuries. Kind of like me. I'm an old man. Now, none more so than the macabre cabal of hooded cult figures relentlessly chasing him through those centuries. And that's the thing, too. If you go in any sort of thing, any hooded figures, usually the villains. Just telling you. But 12-year-old Albert Einstein claims to know how to help Simon unlock his true powers if Simon will let him. And I'm sure he'll tell us all about that in a really annoying, broken German, English. Because that was kind of annoying. I hope Albert learns more straight-up English. Maybe he can get a little British accent. That'd be funny. Like a Dick Van Dyke type British accent. That'd be hilarious. A real cockneyed accent. Oh, my goodness. But I am looking forward to that. I have really enjoyed Redcoat as well as all of the Ghost Machine stuff. Okay, so that is it. that is it for the books that I am anticipating. Again, I said I would love to hear what everybody else is anticipating, and let me know and let everybody know in the comments below. And when I said that, I said earlier that there was a book that I wasn't going to put on the list, but I'm trying to catch up, or will try to catch up on. And it probably will be something we review. It's something that a lot of people have told me to read, and it's I Heart Skull Crusher. Number 4 comes out. I have not read 1, 2, and 3, so I have to do that. So I'm not going to quite put that on the anticipated deal. But if you are a fan of that and want to hear what I think about it, I don't know why you would, but if you do, I'll be talking about that probably this week, either on our Indie Comics podcast or hopefully on YouTube here as well. But that is it. Little short and sweet, as I said, but let me know what you are anticipating for this week. And with that, I will talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.